Hi my loves, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. Here in this channel we talk about relaxed hair care, hair growth tips, protective styling, and anything hair related. So if you know you're interested in this type of content, please consider subscribing to join the family. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the part 3 of the 24 hair growth tips. The part 1 and part 2 of this series is already up on the channel. I'll make sure to link them down in the description box below so that you can check them out if you are interested. So the first tip I'm going to be talking about in today's video is avoid using rubber bands. Rubber bands are a huge culprit when it comes to hair breakage. They usually cause so much tension on the hair that eventually leads to weakness and breakage over time. So that is why it is important that we avoid using rubber bands. I'm not even talking about reducing their usage. I'm talking about eliminating them totally from your regimen and your routine. So no use of rubber bands at all if you want to see length retention. So instead of rubber bands, there are more healthier options for the hair. For example, you can use a satin or silk scrunchie, or you can even use velvet bands. These are better in comparison to using rubber bands. I have used satin scrunchies in the past, and currently I used velvet bands, and ever since I started using this, I have noticed a reduction in the breakage of my hair, because when I used to use rubber bands back then in the past, I would always notice broken hair or strands of hair whenever I take out the band from my hair. And I definitely know that I am not the only one that has experienced this. So many of us that have used rubber bands at one point or the other must have noticed that when they take out the rubber bands, there is usually hair breakage or strands of hair on the band. So that is why it is important that we avoid using rubber bands, because they tend to cause breakage. So it's better if we use the more healthier options like the satin or silk scrunchies or the velvet bands. Now moving on, the next tip I'm going to be talking about is use a clarifying shampoo when necessary. There are times our hair needs a regular wash, a regular clean, and there are times our hair needs a deep clean. So clarifying shampoos are more powerful when it comes to stripping effects compared to regular shampoos. So they tend to contain sulfates, and they usually get rid of more dirt, more buildup, more oils compared to regular shampoos. So that is why it is important to use a clarifying shampoo when our hair needs it, because there are levels of dirt that cannot be gotten rid of by a regular shampoo, but we can tackle with the use of a clarifying shampoo. So that is why it is important to use these shampoos when necessary. Most of the time I use sulfate containing shampoos to get a deep clean. For example, after a long-term protective style, when I know that my hair has so much dirt and build up, that's when I use them. But when I am doing my regular washes, for example after a short-term protective style or immediately after my relaxer routine, I can go in with a regular shampoo or a mild shampoo. But when I see that my hair is really dirty, like I said, this is usually after a long-term protective style for me, I go in with a clarifying shampoo. So always try to keep a balance between using a clarifying shampoo and a regular shampoo, and know when to use these different type of shampoos and use them when necessary. Now moving on, another tip I'm going to be talking about is see a doctor if you have a scalp or hair condition. Now it is not everything that can be solved with using hair products or listening to recommendations on the internet, on YouTube, on Google and all that. Sometimes it is beyond this. There may be an underlying condition that needs to be treated. There may be an underlying scalp condition that needs to be taken care of. So if you have a scalp condition or a hair condition, I'd recommend that you see a doctor to take care of this. After the underlying problem has been taken care of, then you can resume with your normal products or other things that you may have gotten from the internet, and you will see more results with this compared to when you are trying to use all these products and struggling with your hair or scalp condition at the same time. Another reason why it is important to see a doctor if you have a condition is that they can even recommend products for you that will help with your condition, that are compatible with your hair or with your scalp, because there are products you may be using that are worsening your current scalp or hair condition that you may not be aware of. So when you see a doctor, apart from the fact that the condition is going to be taken care of, they can also give you recommendations of compatible products to use on your hair. Now moving on, the next tip I'm going to be talking about is use heat protectants before heat styling. I don't know how I can stress this enough, but you'll be doing your hair a whole lot of damage if you go in to use heat on your hair without applying a heat protectant. One thing we should know is that even though our hair may take years or even decades to grow and maintain, it can literally take a day to get rid of all the process to damage your hair and to lose whatever you have achieved for your hair. So it is important that when using certain tools on our hair, we are cautious, because your decades worth of stress, of money, of products, of hard work may just go down the drain from just one heat styling procedure you did without a heat protectant. Because not using heat protectant before using heat styling tools means the heat is going to be directly in contact with your hair. This can cause heat damage, which will affect the health of your hair and eventually lead to hair breakage. So we always have to use heat protectants when applying heat on our hair. I've tried a couple of them before. The first one I started with was the Vital Olive Oil Heat Protectant. So that was a moisturizing heat protectant, which was one thing I loved about it. So apart from the fact that it was serving as a heat protectant for my hair, it was also moisturizing my hair. The second heat protectant I tried was the Profectiv Mega Growth Smoother Polisher High Shine Serum. Now this had a combination of both moisturizing and protein ingredients, so I loved it for the fact that I was not only getting moisture but also protein for my hair. But the heat protectant I currently use is the Silk Elements Heat Protectant, which I actually love. Like, I have been so much in love with this ever since I started using it, because it is more lightweight compared to my previous heat protectants, which were more like serums. So they were heavy and they used to weigh my hair down. But when I used the Silk Elements heat protectant, this was so light. It didn't weigh my hair down. My hair was so flowy. So that is the heat protectant I currently use. So guys, there are a range of heat protectants you can choose from. These are the ones I have tested. You can research to get more options. By the way, all the products I have mentioned are linked in the description box below, so you can check them out if you are interested. So there are a range of products to choose from, so you don't have an excuse. You just have to get something that works and stick with it. It doesn't have to be so expensive. All the heat protectants I have mentioned are so budget friendly, so there is no excuse when it comes to the financial aspect. So we just have to find a heat protectant that works and stick with it. And guys, on no account must you use a heat styling tool on your hair if you don't have a heat protectant. So if you know you don't have a heat protectant available, postpone that blow dry or silk press until you get a heat protectant. Now moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is don't listen to pessimists. Now there are so many people around us, especially when it comes to Black African women. There are so many people that believe that Black women or African women can't have long hair, and there are some people that believe that when you have long hair, it has to do with your genetics. Guys, genetics, yes, they do have a role to play in your hair growth and all that. For example, genetics can determine the texture of your hair, your coil pattern. It can determine your hair growth rate. But when it comes to retaining length, that is up to you. That is up to your regimen. It is up to your products, how you take care of your hair and all that. So if you keep listening to pessimists around you that tell you that your hair can't grow past this, or because you are Black, you can't have long hair, or because nobody in your family has long hair, therefore you don't have the genetics for long hair and you can't grow long hair, that is not true, guys. If you listen to those sort of people, you end up becoming discouraged. As long as you create a healthy regimen, as long as you stick with your routines, as long as you are consistent and you are patient, you will definitely see results. So in as much as the hair growth rate in some people may be faster compared to others, which may be due to their genetics, when it comes to retaining length, it all boils down to you. So even though it may take more time for you to get to a length that a person with a fast hair growth rate has, it is still possible for you to get there. It will just take time and dedication. So guys, don't listen to pessimists around you and just create a healthy regimen and stick with it. Now moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is shampooing your hair in sections. This has literally turned my wash routine around. Ever since I started washing my hair in sections, the amount of breakage I get has reduced drastically. So when you shampoo your hair in sections, all your hair strands are not moving up and down against one another, so there is less risk of tangling, and if there's less risk of tangling, there will obviously be less risk of breakage. So before now, I used to wash my hair down like that without putting it in sections, and the amount of breakage I got then was more compared to when I started washing my hair in sections. In fact, while washing my hair in sections, I discovered that there is an even better way of washing your hair in sections, which I have used now in my last 2 wash day routines. So I'm going to link the video to that wash day routine down below, where I showed you guys like the step-by-step process of how I wash my hair in sections in order to reduce breakage. So even though washing or shampooing your hair in sections may take more time compared to just washing your hair down like that, the results are definitely worth it. You just have to be patient, and that's why I say that when you know you are in a hurry or you have an appointment to catch up with, you don't have to carry a routine on your hair at that point. So that's why I always say, whatever routine you are carrying on your hair, whether be it detangling, your wash routines, moisturizing and tilling, any form of routine at all, if you do it in a hurry, you may end up not getting the best results. So that is why whenever you want to carry out a routine on your hair, you have to make sure you have enough time. You have to make sure you are in a relaxed state. So this applies to your shampoo routines as well. So you have to make sure you have enough time to wash your hair, to shampoo your hair, and when you are relaxed and have the time, you are more likely to shampoo your hair in sections. Now moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is be consistent. Consistency is key. I don't know how I can stress this enough. Length retention is the effect of compounding. It is the effect and sum of everything you have done on your hair over a period of time. Now some of us may decide to install a long-term protective style for 2 months with the hope of magically growing our hair, and then when we don't see the results we were anticipating after taking down that protective style, we give up and we say long-term protective style is not for me. I am not going to do long-term protective styles anymore. They didn't work for me. Before you can give up on something, you have to have tried it over and over and over before you know that it's not working. Or some of us do it and we find out that it's stressful, it's not that easy, because I'm not gonna lie, long-term protective styles can be a hassle because your hair will be tucked away. There is the constant craving of just wanting to take down your protective style and free your hair, the itching that may come with it and all that. It is a lot, but if you can just stick with a regimen, that's why I always say create a regimen that works for you. If you know you can't be consistent with a regimen, modify that regimen. It is better you create something that you can stick with and be consistent with it than create a more advanced plan that you know you can't stick with. So consistency is key. Consistency is important. You have to consistently follow your regimen. You have to consistently carry out your routines to be able to see the best results. Now moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is be patient. Be patient. I think I say this in almost all my hair growth tips videos. If I wasn't patient, I wouldn't have gotten to this stage with my hair today. I have been on my hair journey now for 9 years, and when I say that, some people scream. This is 2024. Towards the middle of this year, it's gonna be 10 years. So that will literally be a decade. A decade of patience, a decade of hard work, a decade of consistency, a decade of always learning, trying new things and modifying my regimen and all that. So guys, patience is key when it comes to growing your hair. There is no way to magically grow your hair overnight. I see some people search for things like how to grow your hair in 3 days, how to grow your hair overnight in 1 week, how to get from shoulder length to table length in 1 month. Guys, how is that even possible? Your hair growth rate in a month ranges from 1/4 of an inch to 1 inch. So you calculate how many inches you're going to need to get from shoulder length to tailbone length. Is that possible in a month? So we need to stop looking for fast and easy ways to grow our hair. It is a slow process and it is definitely not easy, guys. Like, there are detangling routines that have taken me 2 hours. There are detangling routines that have taken me a day. There are hair routines that have taken me a week. It is definitely not easy. It requires hard work, it requires consistency, and it requires patience. You have to be patient. If you know you can't be patient, then I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to tell you, because patience is key when it comes to growing your hair, because you are definitely not going to get those inches you want overnight. So it takes time. Just enjoy the journey, and that's why I say create a regimen, create routines that you know you can work with, that you know you enjoy. So just enjoy the journey, just flow with it, enjoy the process, and before you know it, 1 year has gone by, 2 years have gone by, 3 years have gone by. It is harder, and you may become impatient when your routines are hard, when your regimen is difficult, and when they are hard to stick to. But if you create something that is easy to follow, that you enjoy doing, guys, before you know it, time has passed by and you have achieved your results. So yes, you have to be patient. So yeah, guys, that's it for the 24 hair growth tips. Like I said, I'm going to link the part 1 and part 2 of the series in the description box below, so that you can check them out if you are interested. If you watched this video this far and you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you are new here and you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing to join the family, and don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.